Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another first look map video with me, Cwattyeso. Just loading up Hawke'S Bay, version 1.4 by Cwattyeso with the 12 added multi-fruit and compost. So again, I am continuing my search for my future multiplayer map. And immediately I know I forgot to do the timescale thingy. So I'm going to put that on real time. I'm also going to turn that off while I remember. So here we are. This is reloading. We've got our house, which I'm guessing is a no surfboards house, as tends to always be the case on Kaz's maps. We're going to mucky old pickup truck as a starting vehicle. In fact, all the vehicles are mucky to start with. The Rostel Mash Harvester, Vedastat Cedar, Fent Tractor, there's the plough, typical plough that we always generally see, loading wagon, and TKD trailer. Got a sheep pen with probably some sheep in it, I'm guessing. Yep, a few sheep. Starting farm feels very much like the farm you get in his Taylor's Farm map, if anyone's familiar with Kaz's work. Horses. So his starting farm really kind of feels laid out to be very similar. You can get some cows, look. Moo, moo, moo. And obviously the chickens, although these chickens aren't free-range chickens on this map. You get Kaz's obviously silo, where he's got all his additional fruit types and much bigger capacity. Get a nice baler, get the standard vehicle workshop to repair and manage and configure your vehicles. New Holland T6 tractor, Amazoni Cedar, Corn Axis fertilizer spreader, and a little mower. So this is your starting farm in Farm Manager. And again, if we look at the starting fleet of vehicles, you've got your Fent, your New Holland, your Rostel Mash, your pickup, your TKD trailer, your header, your corn header, your Salford plough, your Vedastat Cedar, your Amazoni planter, which does your other crops, your roll belt, you get a water tank, there's a couple of weights, you've got your cow pastures, which so you can sell all this stuff off if you wanted to. You've got your grain your silo, which is 1.5 million litres in capacity, and it gives you a small bunker silo for making your silage, a couple of easy sheds, galvanised gate, they're new. And the farmhouse, as I say, no surfboards mod on there. So I'm guessing he's probably got a fence all the way around this place then. If we have a quick run round. Thankfully I can still run at super duper awesome speed, because I've got the developer console enabled. Right, so there is a gate. Okay, there's one there, and there must be another one somewhere else on this map. There was right next to me and I missed it. Now I'm wondering if these fences are like the ones on his other maps. So, first of all, let's see. Let's get ourselves a chainsaw. And we'll see. What normally happens with these fences is if you chop the top off, it gets rid of the barbed wire. So you can effectively make your own entrances and exits into these places. So again, just chop the top off. We've seen this on Mercury Farms by Alien Jim as a way of getting rid of hedges and other objects. and fences. I quite like the feature. I wish more mod authors would adopt it, and I'd also wish more mod authors would go for the route that Alien Jim's just done in his Mercury Farms update, so you can chop them off, the posts, completely remove them, chuck them in a wood chipper or whatever you want to do with them, get a stump grinder, take the stumps out, you've made yourself an entrance into the farm. Right, let's have a look at the map and have a look. So here's the map. Starting farm right in the middle. Starting farm includes the biogas plant, a supermarket, and fields 34, 6 and 5. There's a bunch of little farms all around you, and as you can see, lots of sell points dotted around the place. Sawmill up in the top. Obviously we've got the multi-fruits available on the map. We've got the sugar cane, we've got carrots, we've got onion, we've got clover, lettuce, cabbage, red cabbage, millet, rye, spelt, poppy, hops and tobacco, which are pretty much all of the standard fruit types available on the map. You've got compost sales if you want to make compost. I don't think I have the compost silage mod. I possibly do, actually, thinking about it on this profile. But as you can see, quite a few fields. If we zoom out, looks like there's 53 numbered fields on the map. In total, of varying different sizes. Obviously some quite large ones up the top here that will cost you quite a bit of money to purchase, £1 million or so. Some of the smaller ones near your farm, not so much money. So you could, you know, get a good little setup around you with a couple of these smaller fields quite quickly. But let's have a look around the map. So to do that, first of all, I'm going to make sure we have got the ability to move a bit quicker. We're going to do wrong one. GS toggle. No hood and flight mode. I don't really want to turn the hood off. We're just going to enable the flight mode. So let's go up and have a look around the map. Now this is like supposed to be a New Zealand themed map. As you can see, fields are laid out, got a road, got some nice paths between the fields. One of the things I do like about this map, a lot of mod authors between fields would feel the need to cram in loads of trees and obstacles and stuff like that, which make it a bit difficult to work the fields or drive around them. Cwattyeso doesn't do that. Some people say, oh, well, the map's a bit bland because it doesn't have a lot of decorations on it. That's a good thing as well, because performance-wise, it runs brilliantly. Solid 60 FPS on any system. Whether you've got a low-spec machine, mid-spec machine, or a high-spec machine, you're going to get good frame rate because it's not loading a bunch of extra stuff that doesn't offer really any purpose or function to the map. It is designed to be played. It is a 4x map. So, obviously the fields are quite big. Again, tailored for multiplayer aspect of having obviously people working with you, making you find a lovely poppy field there. Love the red poppy fields. And again, like I say, sell points, quite a lot of them scattered around the map. Again, tends to put them around. Kaz tends to put his sell points around the outside of the map. Keep all the farmland and fields in the middle, so you kind of have to venture out a bit. There is a forestry area if you want to do a bit of logging, if you're the kind of person that likes to chop down trees and do that kind of stuff. There is a small forestry area, but again, nothing overboard, nothing ridiculous like with some maps we've seen come out recently. The Emerald Coast one springs to mind straight away. And interesting that the mod author of that felt I was being a bit snarky with some of my comments about the map. On a, not my review video, but on another YouTuber's video review of the map. He kind of felt he got a bit butthurt, I think is the correct term. He didn't like the fact I didn't like his map, and he really took it very personally. You know, it's just my opinion. I didn't like the map. Didn't like the Emerald Coast map. Didn't like the fact that every field was either cotton or whatever it was. And I didn't like the fact that the only field you started with was poplar. I'm like, oh geez, great, cheers. What a great introduction to a map. I've got to spend the next fucking 8 hours doing poplar harvesting. Yeah. And I didn't like the fact as well, the performance, because there was that ridiculous forestry section near the main starting farm, which killed the frame rate by half. And yes, maybe I was, you know, because I'd literally just loaded the map up and done the review video, much like I'm doing with this one. I didn't spend several hours playing on the map to build the shader cache, or whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. My initial load into the game, my initial minutes in the game was spent crawling around at 30 FPS. That's not good. So there's an area here for placeables. There's an area over here for placeables. Could be quite useful. There's a little area over here for placeables. So just some grassy areas if you want to do some mowing. You can do. I know a lot of people won't be fans of this particular map for the simple reason a lot of the fields are sort of square and rectangular in shape. There's no weird curvy fields or circular fields or wobbly fields, but I'm a fan of square fields. I think it just makes the fields easier to work, especially if you're using AI helpers. And again, on a 4x map like this, you will probably be using AI workers if you're playing it single player. Even in multiplayer, if you've not got a full server of people, a full server of players, you may be hiring a couple of workers here and there to do a few things, especially as your farm grows. It just makes life easier for them. I do like the fact though that the map isn't flat. As you can see, there is quite a lot of contours to these fields. These fields are quite hilly. It will make farming these fields a bit challenging with some of the equipment. Some of the vehicles, they will slow down as they're going up and down the hills. You will have issues probably when you're planting and seeding fields with certain equipment where it will miss bits of the field because of the contours, and you'll have to think about the directions you're doing jobs on to make sure you harvest and complete the whole field. Harvesting, seeding, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's a good map, and like I say, all Kaz's maps to me tend to feel quite similar. Whether you load up Taylor's Farm, Hawke'S Bay, which is obviously this map, some of the other maps he's done as well, they do kind of tend to feel a bit samey. They have a similar style to them, similar theme. Obviously, what we got there? So we got obviously the starting farm here, which is pretty bare bones and basic. You've then got the BGA right next to you, which is laid out quite nice. But again, if I'm going to be a little bit nitpicky and a little bit critical, I don't like the BGA building. Do not like that as a sell point, tip point for the BGA. I think that's rubbish. I would much rather have a traditional drive-through sell point, like let's find somewhere. Is this a sell point? Yeah, but I don't like those sell points because they're under buildings. There we go. That is perfect. Why don't map authors put something like that in for their BGA? Stevie does it on the Fenton Forest map. You can drive in, tip your silage, manure, straw, grass, hay, potato, sugar beet, whatever. You drive in, you can tip it. You can drive in with your bales and unload them, and just drop them off the back of the truck, and they get sold and disappeared. Easy. Straightforward. The trigger on this BGA for those who obviously have played Ravenfort and Felsborough maps, know what an absolute pig it is to try and get bales and stuff to disappear into the bale trigger, which is floating in the air somewhere probably about where I am now. You know, you drive in here with a truck, it doesn't sell. You know, you've got to faff about trying to unload the bales into here. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of that BGA building. I wish mod authors would move away from it. From just importing this from Felsborough or Ravenport, and actually be like Stevie and that. Make your own BGA, or use some of the other BGAs that are now available on the mod hub. There's been several new smaller BGA buildings released. You could probably incorporate some of them, pull them in as prefabs, you know. Got your store over here where all your where you're buying all your vehicles and equipment. Nothing really fancy to say about the store. It's the same store you get on every map. It's where the reset point will be for your vehicles. You got your is this the animal dealer over here? Yep, animal dealers over here. So again, where your starting farm is, everything is pretty much, everything you need is pretty much located. Your biogas, I love, is close by and not hundreds of millions of billions of miles away. The animal dealer's nearby for the people who want to do animals. Your store is nearby for when you're buying and transporting your vehicles and equipment to your farm. And if you have an accident, it's not far to go and retrieve it from the reset point. Like I say, all your sell points pretty much around the edge of the map. Again, easy enough to get to with vehicles. Although there is one thing I will check on it in a little while. Wowzers! Field 34's got a big hill in it. Wow, that's got some serious contour. And then obviously your little fields down here for some little crops. Starting out on, need to be ploughed and limed. Again, I know it's nice for it's nice to load into a map and have free fields given to you at the start that are kind of not forcing you to go in any particular direction because they don't already have crops at whatever stage of growth on them. However, it is a little bit annoying that all three fields need to be limed and ploughed when you first start in the game as well. That's something, again, just give us some variety, you know. Give us a field that needs liming and ploughing. Give us a field that's done, being limed and ploughed and possibly cultivated. Maybe even has a stage of fertilisation added to it. Give us another field that's, I don't know, seeded with something. And it's growing, but not necessarily needs harvesting straight away, you know. And it gives us the option as well that if we want to, we could just go over it and seed it with another crop of our choice. I do like a bit of options when I'm starting maps. It's always, you know, seems like every save game starts the same. The first thing you have to do when you load up a map is a harvest. The next thing you have to do is you know, lime and plough the fields. And it'd be nice if map authors gave people alternative starting routes by not having that same entryway into the series. Here's your wall sails. I'm just having a look at some of these. Here's a sawmill. Right, Hawke'S Bay Traders is over here. Now, one of the things I am sort of having a look at in terms of sale points as well, since we've got things like the Wilson Super B mod come out recently, and there's even a Wilson A-Train mod currently in testing, which is apparently even bigger and more flexible version of it, how accessible is it going to be to get to sell points using a road train? And I think this one's going to have issues. This type of sell point will definitely have issues. Trying to get in and out with a, you know, a truck pulling 6 trailers isn't going to be easy. This one, depending how you approach it, I'm guessing. If you come in from this way, you could probably drive through here and get out again with your road train. Let's have a bit more of a mosey round. See if we can't find a few more sell points to test out. Certainly on these these big maps, you get a lot of harvesting, a lot of crops. That sell point would have issues with a road train type vehicle. That one won't be very good for it. Where was that? That was down here at the Southern Mill. We've got the manure station over here, which seems okay. You got compost as well in there. You can sell if you make compost. Have a way of making compost. Another sell point here, the mill station. That's probably... Depends if those bushes are collision objects or whether they're just foliage. If they're painted foliage, you can probably get through there okay with a road train. Another placeables area. Another placeables area on the map. Fuel station down here for getting your diesel. You've got your Mackie D's. Everywhere's got to have a Mackie D's. That's got a nice sell point. Road train for that? Definitely. Just drive straight through here. I did it on the Taylor's Farm map doing a poppy harvest. Just drive straight through. Nothing gets in your way. Good sell point, that one, for road trains. Then what have we got? Excuse me. Bale sales. Windrow sales. Yeah, you could probably drive. You wouldn't necessarily use a road train for bales though. You can't get them in the trailers, so it's not really an issue on that one. The brewery. I guess you could come in from this way. The trouble is getting around that corner might be a bit tight. You might collide with the building. But these are things you've got to consider now. And again, for map authors making maps going forward, they've got to be a bit considerate as well and start thinking about some of the new equipment that's coming out and making sure it can get to places on the map, sell points and stuff. Nice little pier, little harbour. Can't walk down it, sadly. Got to have your dead whale skeleton. Your New Zealand flag fluttering in the breeze. Another port sell point. You'll definitely get a road train through that, which is brilliant. And then up here, you've got your dairy. I do find it a bit weird how Kaz sticks the dairy in the port, and you have to come into the port to access the dairy. And again, if I'm having any criticism with the map and any of Kaz's maps, the sell point for the dairy, I don't like it. I don't like the fact it's not dry. You can't drive through it. You've got to kind of like reverse in and faff about. Makes it very difficult, especially for people who like to use course play and stuff like that and have automated routes, because it's real pain in the backside setting up routes where you've got to turn and maneuver vehicles into spaces to unload or load. It's much easier just to do a straight drive-through course and maintain a loop. But that's the Hawke'S Bay map. And like I say, remove the fences around the farm, sell off the gates, come round with a stump cutter and a chainsaw, remove all the logs and open the farm up so you can get your vehicles in and out from everywhere and it's not bad going. You may want to get rid of the animals and start in animals if you wanted to. You may even decide, you know what, this is a nice little area, but I'm going to set up my farm on one of the other locations on the map, like here. There's a few of them dotted around. You may even be able to find some flattish bits of land, like about here, where you can build stuff. One of the things I would be doing with any map going forward, of course, is taking advantage of my manure, slurry and storage, which I've now fixed a bit and got it working properly and everything. It is back in resubmission with Giants, by the way. Or at least I've sent it back to Giants. Whether or not they will pass it this time, I don't know. I hope they do. I've tried fixing a few things in the mod. I haven't enabled them on this test save, all the different production silos. That's why I can't find them. Haha! They're not here. But if you have all your placeables installed, you could, you know, effectively whack down your production buildings. No, are starting to come out, your factories, if you like, for making silage, for making pig food, for making TMR, for making hay, for making fuel, for making seed, for making fertilizer, for making liquid fertilizer, for making lime. The Farmer Shuby's made a mod for every product to produce practically everything in game now, so worth having a look at. But anyway, this is the Hawke'S Bay, as I say, map by Kaz64 with 12 additional fruit types. It's in the list of maps that are being considered for multiplayer. Again, leave your thoughts and feelings on that in the comment section down below, and what you feel on the map and whether it would make a good multiplayer map. I've been Cwattyeso. This has been a first look map video, and I'll see you all again very soon for another video. But for now, from me,